Hi and welcome to Tim's and S Yoga. I'm Tim and I'm here with my friend Stacy. She's going to be demonstrating the postures while I teach. So let's get started in child's pose. All right, so in your child's pose, have your big toes together. Take your knees just wide enough for your ribs to fit in between. And then let your hips start to release back onto your heels. Open up your hands evenly into the mat. Energize the stretch of the arms. Start to reach down into the hands, straighten your arms. And then feel your breath start to come into your back ribs. So feel the length of the inhalation. Feel the body start to expand, open up. And notice the quality of the exhalation, smooth and steady. Then come up onto your hands and your knees. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Then as you exhale, start to round your back, look back at your navel. And inhale, wheel your chest forward, tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Exhale to round your back, look back at your navel, open up your back body. Inhale, wheel your chest forward, tip your sit bones up. Do that one more time. Flow steady with your breath. And then come into neutral. Hold here. Now reach down into your hands and lift through your wrists. Feel that your shoulders are turned on, your back muscles are turned on, so you're not just sinking into your hands. Then curl your toes under and lift your knees just an inch. So same thing, stretch down into your knuckles and your fingerprints, but lift up out of your wrists. Feel that you're lifted, your shoulders are turned on, the back muscles are turned on. One of the most common complaints that I get, or questions that I get, is people getting aches in their wrists from practicing vinyasa. So that's one of the reasons. Just sinking into your hands will make the wrist start to ache. And over time, you can feel this exhausting to try to lift up out of the wrist like this. So set your knees back down for a moment. You'll build more strength. And if you can feel yourself not lifting out of the wrist, then I recommend just setting the knees down when we hold in plank. Okay, one more time. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up just an inch, reach down into your hands, plug the arms up into the socket, and then one leg at a time, step back into plank pose. Good, root down in between your big toe mounds and second toe mounds. Lift the inner thighs. And then slowly stretch back to downward dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Put a little bend in your knees and let your head drop. Uttanasana. Then inhale, make a flat back. Come up onto your fingertips, elongate through your spine. Exhale, fold deeper. Again, inhale, come up into a flat back position, lengthen. Then step your left leg back into a lunge. Come up onto your fingertips, start to stretch your back leg. And again, even here on your fingertips, feel that you're lifting, you're not just sinking into the hands. Then one arm at a time, stretch your arms back behind you and start to reach your chest forward. At the same time, work your back leg like the plank leg. So reach in between the big toe mound, second toe mound, lift the inner thigh, lift up from your belly up to your heart. Then set your left hand down and twist, take your right arm up. So as you twist, hug your right outer hip back so that it feels like your sit bone is tracking with your right heel. Lengthen out to the midline and turn your back ribs down as you spin your front ribs up. Bring your right hand back down, step back to down dog. Inhale into a plank position. Set your knees down, pause, open your chest, then shift forward and lower slowly to elbow height, keeping the spine long and the chest open. Lift straight back up. Stretch back to downward dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale again, flat back, elongate. Step your right leg back into a lunge. Come up onto your fingertips, start to reach your chest forward, get light on the hands. Then one arm at a time, stretch the arms back without letting your hips twist off to the side. Work your back leg like the plank leg. So root down between the big toe mound, second toe mound, lift the inner thigh, reach your heart forward, then set your right hand down and twist. Take your left arm up. So as you're twisting, there might be a tendency to lean forward or back. Instead, imagine I drew a line down the center of your mat and you're lengthening straight out along that line. Draw your left outer hip back into alignment, and then start to spin your back ribs down towards your right hand as you turn your front ribs up. Bring your hand down and step back into down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Now, even if you're already Radha Chaturanga, this is a great prep pose just to make sure that you have good alignment. Set your knees down for a moment. Feel your spine is long, like a stick up your spine. Then shift forward and lower slowly to elbow height. Keep the blades on the back, the chest open. Hold the length of your spine. Pause there. Then lift back up into a modified plank. And then stretch back into down dog. Okay, now let's see if we could do it with that much integrity and focus with straight legs. Inhale into plank pose. Now just be honest with yourself. If it looks better with knees down, you're not strong enough yet, that's okay. You'll build the strength. Shift forward and lower slowly. Hold the length of your spine. Keep your blades on your back. Pause there, elbow height. And then lift straight back up without doing the worm. Whole body still like a plank. Downward facing dog. So if that was too challenging, if you lost the plank quality in the spine, your shoulders rounded, then just do it with knees down until you start to get stronger. Okay, that's my disclaimer for all that. Lie down onto your belly. Now I don't want to be hearing about achy wrists anymore after all that explanation. Slide your hands back underneath your elbows. Inhale into cobra. Yeah, that's the other thing. Chaturanga will really aggravate your wrist too if you sink into your shoulders when you do it instead of staying lifted. Then roll up into upward facing dog. Roll the front of the shoulder back towards the wall behind you. And as you press the tops of the feet down, spin your inner thighs up. Lengthen your buttocks out of your lower back. Stretch back to down dog. That was a good up dog. Nice job. Stretch back to down dog and take a breath or two. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back, elongate your spine. Exhale, fold forward, let all the air out. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. I think this is gonna be a first. We're gonna try doing an audible om on Tim Sense Yoga today. Are you ready for this? So stand with your hands at your heart, with your eyes closed. So the om is 3 parts, O, Ah, Om. So if you feel comfortable to, practice chanting with me. Take a breath in through your nose. Open your eyes, release your arms at your side. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. Step back one leg at a time into plank pose. Shift forward, lower slowly to Chaturanga, knees down or not, your call. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Turn the shoulders back as you spin the inner thighs up. Lengthen the buttocks down and stretch back to downward dog. Hold in your down dog. Reach into your hands again, like you're gonna stand on your hands. Then turn your inner arms forward, turn the triceps down towards the floor. Lift from your hips, from your lap, up and away from your wrist, but keep plugging into your hands at the same time. Look between your hands, step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale, make a flat back, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, elongate. Step back into plank pose, one leg at a time. Shift forward, lower slowly, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold in your down dog and reconnect to your breath. So there's effort to stretch in the pose, to elongate, to create more space, but not so much effort to where you feel you're creating more strain in your body. So just look for that steady balance in the pose. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. From down dog, shift into plank and pull your right knee up to your chest. Wake up your core muscles, pull your knee up high. Then lift your leg up a little higher and step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Now keep your right hip on a track with your right heel. Set up your back foot for warrior one. So step the foot a little bit closer, turn the heel down, make sure your back toes are angled in a little more than halfway. As you hug your right hip back in again, come up into Vira one. Lift from your belly, raise your arms. Stretch your back leg long, reach through the back heel and lift tall through the sides of your waist. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank with your chest open. Now bring your left knee up to your chest. Pull your belly up. Lift up. Lift up a little higher. And step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Then set up your back heel for warrior one. Hug your left hip into the midline. Lift your belly and come on up. Energize the reach through your back heel. Grow tall through the sides of your waist. Good, bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back to plank pose. And stretch back to downward dog. Sun salutation B, look in between your hands. Step or float up to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, raise your arms up. Now feel the weight back into your heels. Make sure that your shins aren't sinking forward. Then sit your buttock back like you're sitting into a little chair, but lift up through all four sides of your waist, the front and the back sides. Then lengthen the armpits through the reach of the pinkies and come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit your hips back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Look back at your feet and hide your inner heels behind you but also hide your outer heel so your heels aren't turned in or out. Bend knees, look forward. Step or float up to the front. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit back. Press up to stand, Samastiti. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Step or float back lightly, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold in your down dog. Then step your right foot for warrior one again. Inhale, raise your arms up. Open up to your side for warrior two. As you hold in warrior two, check out your back foot. Make sure that it's angled in just slightly like this. And then turn your right thigh all the way out. So if you look down at your right leg, the center of your ankle, the center of your knee, and the center of your hip are all tracking. Because the inner leg is tight, your knee will want to keep twisting in. Don't let it. Keep it pointing straight ahead and stretch from your inner legs towards their own inner knees. Magic block appeared. Now keep the stretch on your back leg. Don't give up that stretch on your back leg. Put your right hand down onto the outside of your foot and put your left hand onto your hip again. Not again, for the first time. Reconnect from your back hip to your back heel and lengthen through the sides of your waist like I picked you up and lifted you that way. Then take your left arm all the way over your ear. Try not to let your waist collapse over onto your thigh as you do. Good, make sure that your right leg is still pointing in the right direction, knee straight ahead, hip in, and then hold here for 5 breaths. Open up the soles of the feet, let the toes stretch, reach down through all 4 corners of your feet. Now lift your belly, come back up into warrior two. Reverse warrior, flip your right palm and inhale. Circle your hands back to the mat and step back to down dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach your arms up. Open up to your side, warrior two. Make sure your back foot's turned in just a little. Turn your left thigh all the way out so that your knee is pointing straight ahead. Center hip, center knee, center ankle. Grow tall through your spine, energize your arms. Now see if you can let your left thigh drop just a little bit deeper. Good. Then without this knee twisting in, place your hand down onto the outside of your foot, block or floor. Put your right hand on your hip. Reconnect from your right hip into your back heel. Elongate through the sides of your waist. And take your right arm all the way over your ear without your waist shrinking. Keep lengthening the sides of the waist through the reach of the arm and through the reach of your back leg heel. Hold for 5 more breaths. Then press down into your feet, lift from your belly and come back up into Warrior Two. Reverse Warrior, flip your palm and inhale. Bring your hands back to the mat, step back to Down Dog, or take a Vinyasa. Step your right foot for Warrior Two. Come right up into Warrior Two this time. Skip the Warrior One. Then place your right hand onto the inside of your foot. Take your left arm up to the ceiling. Wrap your left arm behind your back. And with your hand, now you can feel where your outer hip is in space. You don't have to look down. So feel your hip align with your center ankle. Center hip, center ankle, turn the knee so it's in the line too. Keep that as you start to straighten your right leg halfway. Don't let the hip swing out behind you. Now see if you can straighten the leg all the way. Keep reaching down into the foot, plug the thigh up, and feel that your hip is still on a track with your ankle. Lengthen your waist again. Pretty good. Now bend your right knee, keeping it on its track. Scoot your back foot a foot closer and slide your right hand a foot in front of your pinky toe, float up. Keep the hip on its track. Then elongate through your waist, turn your chest and take your left arm up. Good job. Reach through your heel. Bend your right knee and as smooth as you can, slide back into triangle pose. Bend your right knee, lift from your belly and come back up into Warrior Two. Bring your hands back to the mat, step back to Down Dog or take a Vinyasa. Step your left foot, Warrior Two. Come right into Warrior Two this time. Modified side angle. Place your hand down onto the inside of your foot. Right arm goes up. Then wrap your arm behind your back. Take a half bind. Once you get into the half bind, roll your shoulder back, open up your chest. Feel that the hip is on a track with its ankle. Then start to straighten your leg halfway. Don't let your upper body round over. Stay long through the midline. And then start to straighten all the way, still holding your length. You could feel the longer the hamstring stretches, the more it wants to round you over. Don't let that happen. Then bend your knee again, keeping the hip on its track. Scoot your back foot a foot closer and slide your left hand a foot in front. Float up, smooth as you could. Nice. Press through your right heel like it's against a wall. Lengthen through your waist and turn your ribs in your chest and take your right arm up. Complete the pose. Hold steady in your half moon. Feel your left foot is even on the floor. Bend your left knee and glide back into triangle pose. Good, then come back into Warrior Two. Straighten your left leg, turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Clasp your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders back and open up your chest. Then start to fold forward in between your legs. So just feel that the legs will try to avoid the stretch either by locking the knees or sending the hips back in space. So put just a little bend in your knees and open up through your feet evenly into the floor. Then start to plug your thigh bones up like you're lifting straight up over your heels. Feel the hips glide up over the heels, but keep opening the feet. Don't let the feet shrink. Then set your fingertips down onto your mat and inhale, elongate your spine, make a flat back. Exhale, walk your hands back and let your head drop. As you hold here, reach down through your index finger knuckle, turn your elbows to point straight back, and then lift your shoulder blades away from your ears as you let the back of the head drop. All right, then inhale, make a flat back, lengthen your spine. Bring your hands to your hips and come all the way up to stand. Turn your left foot out, step up to the front of your mat, and stand in mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Squat down for crow pose. Practice balancing on your arms for 5 breaths, or you can just practice your squat. So to go into crow, you'll squat down, the knees go on the outsides of the arms, put the hands down, and then keeping your shoulder blades on your back and lifting away from your wrist, you'll lift from your bandhas. Pelvic floor pulls up, belly pulls up, and you'll lift up over your hands and try to straighten your arms. Good, then hold here for 5 minutes. No, just 5 breaths. Hold, pull up, reach into the knuckles evenly. Good, then set your feet back down and step back to down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Shoulders right over your hands, open your chest. Exhale, dog pose, stretch back. Bring your feet together and roll to the outside edge of your left foot. Take your right arm up, Vashisthasana side plank. So again, this is one where the wrist is at a lot of risk. Wrist risk. So if you need to set your knee down to help to build strength in your upper body, that's fine. Once your upper body gets stronger, the wrist won't take the burden of it. Remember, yoga is all about non-violence. First concept in yoga that's recommended is ahimsa, which means non-violence. Downward dog, stretch back. So it takes time to build strength. You wouldn't try to run a marathon your first day running. Roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. The strength and endurance will come if you just keep coming back to your mat every day, which I hope, are you practicing every day with us? I hope you are. It's really important. Good, then stretch back to downward facing dog, nice and steady. Now let's get into the core because I know you've been waiting for this part. Look in between your hands and jump through to seated. Dun, 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 the core. Sit in Dandasana. So of core poses, this is an important pose to me because we all should be able to sit up straight with the legs stretched out in front of us, but on the sit bones. The tendency is for the butt to tuck, pretend like you have bad posture, and when the butt tucks, the whole spine rounds like this. So we want to be able to sit with the legs stretched out, with the pelvis upright, just like that. So we just practice that, 5 breaths. Stretch your legs, grow your spine tall. Imagine like you're a marionette, a puppet on a string being pulled up through the crown of your head. Now keep that feeling and then start to lean back until you find your tailbone. So it's almost like 30, 45 degrees. I forgot my protractor, so I'm not sure. Once you find your tailbone, balance in between your tailbone and your sit bones. Then pull from your belly up and start to slide your heels towards you from the grip of your belly. Can you do both at the same time? And then lift the feet up from the grip of your belly. It's a lot harder going into it this way. Then from the grip of your belly, take your arms forward. This is a common theme here. We're using the grip of the belly. Root down, tailbone, sit bones. Pull belly up, strong in your middle. Now maybe you can start to lift your feet up without sinking back. Depends on how flexible the hammies are. Good, now bend your knees, lower onto your lower back. Hold there in a crunch position, and then stretch your left leg forward. Oh, but pull the low abs back in. Where's that low ab going? Jeez. Change legs. I'm taking applications now for a new yoga model. No, I'm just kidding. It's just, you're good. Keep the belly pulled in, crunch up 1 more inch. Now lift the extended leg up halfway and stretch your other leg out to meet it. Ooh, now it's really gonna, come on, squeeze those abs. Squeeze them tight. Come up 1 more inch. Hold there, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then come back up in a boat. Oh! Put your feet down. Put your hands a foot behind you. Spin your shoulder heads back and open up your chest. And then lift your hips up. Keep your knees pointing straight ahead. Stretch from the fronts of the thighs down into the knees. And then lift from the front of the pelvis up into the chest. Roll the shoulders, open the chest. Lift your tailbone up. This is such a nice back bend. Okay, then slowly lower yourself back down. Lie down onto your back. Bring your heels close to your buttock, feet hip distance, and then lift your hips up. Come into bridge pose. So in bridge, today I want you to grab the sides of your sticky mat and then roll turn your biceps out. Your biceps are right here. Turn them out, and as they turn out, you'll feel the chest start to open. Inner arm to outer arm. Press through your feet and lift up through your tail. Keep the knees pointing straight ahead. Good, then lower your hips back down. Now lift your hips back up. And once you find your bridge again with your open shoulders, bring your feet a little closer together, and we're gonna really work the backs of the legs now. So as you press into your right foot without your knee twisting, bring your left leg up like tabletop position. Good. Then as you inhale, slowly lower your hips so they're just like a centimeter above the floor. And as you exhale, come right back up. Ooh, working the back of the legs. Inhale, slowly lower, so just a centimeter, I don't know what I'm saying. Exhale, come back up, press into your foot. Inhale, slowly lower, try not to let your shoulders wiggle side to side. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, come back up. Good. Stacy's smiling throughout this whole thing. I hope that you're enjoying it as much as her. Change legs. Set your left foot down. Bring your right leg up. I'm normally cursing at this point in class usually. Don't let the hips twist. Turn the arms. Now inhale, slowly lower your buttocks just a centimeter above the floor. Exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, back up. Inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, back up. One more time. Inhale, lower, slow. Exhale, back up. Hold. Then lower your foot down. Lower your buns down. Bring your knees up. Inhale your arms up. Back into the abs. Crunch up to your knees, arms forward. Hold there, squeeze your abs in tight. Then stretch your right leg forward at a 45-degree angle and stretch your left leg out to meet it. Tuck those abs in and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, come back up into boat. Good. And reverse plank, put your feet down, hands back a foot behind you, roll your shoulders back, chest open, lift your hips up. As you press down even into your feet, keep the knees pointing straight ahead. Then lower your buns back down. Come back up into boat pose. Last part of the abs. Here we go. Lower slowly right into low boat with the straight legs if you can. Good. Tuck your abs. Come back up into high boat. Cross your legs. Pick up and jump back to chaturanga or step back to down dog. Then step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, reach your arms up. Bring your hands behind your back, grab opposite elbows, straighten your right leg and step your back foot a little bit closer. Then turn the shoulder heads back and open your chest. Fold forward, halfway out over your leg. Then lengthen all the way out over your leg. Keep reaching down even into your right foot. Instead of letting your right hip sink onto your foot, pull your right hip up like I had a rope across your hips and I'm lifting it off your ankle. Then press down through your feet and inhale, come back up to stand. Put your right hand on your hip and raise your left arm straight up. Then start to turn your chest towards the camera. No, where you're gonna turn your chest to the right. And then start to lean your chest and place your hand down onto the block or onto the floor. Wherever you get your hand, elongate through your waist again, straight out, and keep the right hip pulling back off the ankle. Then turn your ribs all the way, spin the back ribs down, and take your right arm up. We should do a standing splits. From here, keep your right hip pulled up as you bring your right hand down and step up to balance, standing splits. Raise your back leg up from the inner thigh. Your right hip will keep wanting to sink onto the ankle, keep lifting it up. Now lift the left inner leg up higher and let your head drop towards your ankle. Then lower your left leg to meet your right. Bend your knees slightly and roll yourself up to stand. Tadasana. Stand up tall up over your ankles. Press down through the center of your right heel, left heel, and bring your right knee up without sinking over to your side. Then reach down to the inside of your knee and take your big toe, or just hold your knee if you're not that flexible. If you have the big toe, start to stretch the legs straight out in front of you. Try not to let your butt tuck under or your left leg shrink. Grow your left leg taller, spine tall. Then change hands and twist, open up to your right. Look forward, raise your arms up. Stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Hold there, hold that leg up. Bring your hands to prayer, tip into warrior three. Stay steady. Then bend your left knee, step back into warrior one, raise your arms up. Good, back to where we started. Take your hands behind your back, grab a hold of opposite elbows, straighten your left leg and step your back foot a little bit closer. Roll your shoulders back and inhale. Exhale, start to fold forward, halfway out over your leg, pause, get even across your feet, then lengthen all the way out over your leg. Keep stretching your hips up and back as you lengthen out over the leg. Reach down even into your left foot. Press into your feet and inhale, come back up to stand. Place your left hand on your left hip. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale, turn your chest and reach and twist. Find length through your waist again. Lengthen through all four sides of your waist. Pull your hip up and back. Then turn the ribs all the way and take your left arm up. Good, standing splits, fingertips down, raise your back leg up. Let your navel release towards your spine as you float up. Then lower your right leg to meet your left. Put a little bend in your knees. Slowly roll yourself up to stand. Stand up tall above your ankles, press down through the center of your right heel and bring your left knee up. Reach down onto the inside of the knee and take the big toe, or just hold your knee if you're not that flexible. If you have the big toe, start to stretch the leg out in front of you. Lift the big toe up towards shoulder height, but don't let your right leg shrink or your buns tuck. Grow your right leg tall, plug the thigh up and stand tall up over your right ankle. Then change hands and twist, open up to your left. This is the face you have to make so that they don't knock them over on accident. Look forward and raise your arms up. Bring your hands to prayer and tip back into warrior three. Good, step back into warrior one, raise your arms. Nice job. Then bring your hands to your heart. Spin your back heel up, lean your chest out over your knee and twist. Keep looking for length in your twist like we practiced at the beginning. Bring your hands down to the mat, step back to down dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Bring your hands to prayer. Spin your back heel up. Lean your chest out over your knee. Then twist. Take your elbow to your knee and lengthen through the midline as you're twisting. Bring your hands back down to the mat, step back to down dog, or take a vinyasa. Pincha Mayurasa preparation. Set your knees down. Take a block in between your hands. Turn your thumbs to point up. Now press down through the blade of the forearm. Make sure that your arm doesn't twist in or out. Press straight down through the center of it and bring your shoulders right over your elbows. Then curl your toes under, lift your knees and your hips without your shoulder blades sinking into your neck. So strong back muscles to keep the blades in position. They should spread away from the neck and move up the back towards the buttock or down the back. Okay. Then if you can, lift up high on your tiptoes and like you're gonna lift your butt right up over your elbows. Then lift your right leg up from the inner thigh without twisting or sinking. Keep pressing those forearms down. Lift out of the neck, shoulders. Change legs, lift the left leg up from the inner thigh. Then if you're practicing balancing, go ahead and go up. Not you though. Remember, you can always move the block to the wall and practice at the wall. We should, and then set your foot back down, set your knees down, and stretch back into child's pose. So you learned how to do that one in the video with Jessica Was that on here? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can reference that video if you haven't done that one already. But great tips to practice Pincha Mayurasana in that one if you're not already practicing it. Now just make sure that you're not like rounding your shoulders towards the block, but you can feel that you're really lifted out of the shoulders like we practiced at the beginning of the class. Okay. As always, if you have any questions, just hit me up on the Facebook group. I'm happy to discuss with you there. Now take downward dog. Step your right foot up by your right thumb and lower your left knee down to the floor. Okay, now let me show you how to work on the bind from here. Bring your hips back over top of your knee-ish, and then bring the left heel towards the buttock, and then see if you can reach back and grab a hold of your foot. If the foot is too far away, you could put a block underneath your left hand. That'll help you to be able to get the foot. But if it's easy to get the foot, then you could put the hand down onto the floor or whatever, and then start to lean the hips more forward to get into the stretch. But if you feel that you lost the stretch when you went deeper, like you lost the length here in the front of the hip, thigh, then it'd be better to come up a little bit and get the extension space as you go deeper. So in each pose, it's not just how far you can move yourself into it, it's can I hold my extension as I'm moving deeper. That's the real practice. Then set your right hand down, release your foot, bring your hips back over top of your left knee again, and then wiggle your right foot forward, half splits, dorsiflex the foot. Open up through the big toe mound like you're reaching through a gas pedal, and draw your right thigh back. Lengthen through the sides of your spine. Then rebend your right knee and step back to downward dog. Step your left foot up and lower your right knee down. Then bring your hips back over top of your knee a little, and then bring the right heel towards the right buttock, and see if you can reach back with your hand for your foot. Remember, if the foot's too hard to get, you can come up onto the block or whatever, chair. And then once you get the lift through your chest and length through your spine, see if you can start to go deeper into the pose. Then release your foot, bring your hands down, and come into half splits. Hips back over top of the knee, wiggle your front foot forward, and dorsiflex. All right, then rebend your knee, step back to down dog. And look between your hands, hop through to seated. Lie down on your back. Bring your heels close to your buttock, feet hip distance apart. Lift your hips up, come up into bridge pose. So like we practiced earlier in bridge, roll the biceps out. Roll up onto the tops of your shoulders. Good. And then we're going to practice the arms for Urdhva Dhanurasana. So place your hands into position as if you were going to go into a wheel pose. And in this position, the index fingers points down towards the heels. Turn your elbows in, and then feel your inner arms plug into the socket, the traps spread, so there's space for your neck. Then just start to open your hands and stretch your hands down evenly into the mat. That's phase one. So you might feel if there's a lot of tension, like your shoulders are really tight, you have a lot of tension in the nerves in your arms, the hands are feeling like they try to vibrate away from the floor, So instead, open the hands as the elbows point straight back. Now, bring more weight into your hands and pretend like you're gonna push yourself up. Don't actually push up, but just pretend. Start to reach in the hands as if you're gonna push up. And then lower your buns back down. Keep your hands in position. So this is great to train the arms so that one day you could do Urdhva just like this. Lift your hips up again. Hold. Now if you're feeling like, yeah, my hands are laying down, I feel pretty strong and confident, I feel like I'm ready for the next stage, then you could lift up onto your head for a moment, reach into the crown of the head, turn the elbows in again, get the hands to open, and move your thoracic spine into a back bend. Then lift up an inch, untuck your head, and lower back down. Cool. So you might practice that stage, or just stay with stage 1. I'd call that stage 2 maybe. Or if you want to go for the full thing, come up onto your head for a moment, take a breath, and then go all the way up into wheel. I mean Urdhva Dhanurasana, it's not actually wheel. As you're here, move your hips towards the front wall and your chest towards the wall behind you, like someone's pulling you in opposite directions. Then lower yourself slowly back down with control. Good. Hug your right knee gently into your chest. And stretch your left leg out along the floor. Change legs. Hug your left knee into your chest and stretch your right leg out. Hug both knees into your chest. Take happy baby, reach onto the insides of your knees, grab a hold of the outsides of your feet. Then hug your knees back into your chest and roll yourself up to seated. Stretch both legs out in front of you. Back into your Dandasana. Core of steel. Bend your right knee off to the side like a tree pose leg. And fold forward over your left leg. Inhale, come back up. Change sides, stretch your right leg out. And bend your left knee back. Start to fold forward over your right leg. I'm getting the giggles because Stacy tells me that I always make noises with my mouth, and I used to blame it on the camera. I was like, oh, our camera makes weird noises. And she says, no, it's your mouth. You keep making weird noises with your mouth. Leave a comment. Let me I think I make weird noises with my mouth the whole time. I'd be interested to. I was making the noises, and then I was like, oh, I do make those noises a little. Okay. Focus on your pose at home. Don't be distracted by our shenanigans. Inhale, come back up. Then take Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees wide apart, bound ankle. So in Baddha Konasana, it requires quite a bit of hip mobility before you can start to go forward. So it might just be sitting upright is your Baddha Konasana. That's enough stretch for your hips. You feel like, wow, wow. And then if you want to start to go further, if your hips are like super open already, you can start to tip the spine forward like halfway. Cool. And then make sure that your groins are still stretching into your knees, like your knees aren't lifting up. And then if you can start to go even further, Nice. But don't let the knees lift up or shrink back into you. Good. Inhale, come back up. Bring your knees together and stretch your legs out. Inhale your arms up to the ceiling. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Reach towards your feet. Then lie down on your back for corpse pose, Shavasana. So just let your hands fall open at your side, let your feet fall open. And feel the vibratory quality in the body start to slow down. And then just practice tuning your concentration to the breath. And feel how that affects the quality of the vibration. So just notice the energy as you breathe in, the energy in the body as you breathe out. Then gently bend your knees and roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. With your eyes closed, just take a moment to notice the shift in energy at the end of your practice. So just notice how you feel now as opposed to how you felt at the beginning. Calm, yet energized. More balanced. These are the reasons why you keep coming back to the mat every day. Lower your head towards your heart. Lift the head and open the eyes. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right, thank you for watching today, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks for being a member of this community. Thanks to Stacy for coming out today and demonstrating some of the poses. Actually, you demonstrated all of them. And as always, I'm interested to have your feedback on today's video and all the videos. You can participate in the Facebook group. How do they sign up for that group? We sent you an email. You got that email, so just sign up for that thing already. And let me know things that you liked about today's video, things you didn't like, how we can keep making these videos better for you. And it'd be great to connect with you there. Okay, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.